Hello and welcome to Next Day Solar. Today we're going to build the solar race car. Now you might have seen our other video with our more basic car. This car will move when the power of the sun is shining on the solar panel. Well, the race car is slightly more advanced in that it has a much larger solar panel, but it also has a battery inside and it has an on and off switch. And when you activate the on switch, the solar car comes to life and it will essentially rocket across your table or walkway, and it's also got a really nice light. So that's what we're building today. It's definitely one of our more advanced kits. It's aimed at 12 and upwards, and I would recommend having a go at some of our other kits before you dive into the solar race car, because it follows lots of the principles of some of our other kits, but it's useful to have a bit of experience. So hold tight, sit onto your seats, strap your seatbelt on, and here we go. So with all of our kits, you'll always find the instructions. With this kit, there's lots of small parts, so just put them to one side, and then as ever, all the FSC certified timber parts that you'll need. It's a good thing to do to just open them up, keep the plastic bags, use them for something useful around your home or workplace, and just take the parts out. So I'll just start by popping all the bits out. Now there are lots of little bits, and if you're unsure what bits you might need or might not need, just pop all the offcuts like that to one side. You can always come back to it when you need to. So I'll just start by getting everything ready. If you're having any parts that aren't coming out easily, just pop them out with a screwdriver. Just delicately make sure you put pressure at all the different parts. You don't want anything to break along the way. So just pop them all out. So there's lots of little parts in here, so I'm just going to take out the parts that I need. So to start with, I just need the motor, and then I'm also going to need some cogs that go around the motor. So I'll just find the appropriate cog. Now if it's easier for you, just empty all the parts out. It's really important that you have this all carefully laid out. In this smaller bag here, you'll find the cogs. Take your motor and place on the very small cog like so. Just push it down so it's just tucking out 1 millimeter. The next thing you want to do is take your first bar, and you're going to take a second cog and you're going to place it on there. And then the recommendation is to slide it up to an appropriate distance. If you have got a tape measure or ruler, it's really useful to use. You can self-adjust it when you need to. It's 16 centimeters from the edge at one end and 32 mil from the other end, like so. Take the casing for the motor and push the motor through until it sits nicely in place. You're then going to take your cogs and start to add the cogs in, which is really, really easy to do. Take your first cog and lay it on the first plate here. And what you'll find, if it's in the correct position, is when you spin that cog, the motor will spin as well. You're then going to take your next cog and you're going to fit it with the small cog facing towards you and slide it down onto there. And when you spin that, you'll see that the whole motor spins nicely, which is exactly what you're looking for. Then take the other side of the motor casing and slide it on. You should feel a nice click. Okay, we're ready to move on to the next step. So we're going to build the module that sits around this. So you're looking for this part here, which is going to go around the motor, and this part here, which is going to go on the other side of the motor. You're going to take this piece here and you're going to lay it on top. So once you've lined up the two holes there and there, you want to put the other side of it on like so. And then you're going to use the two long screws that are provided, and you're going to secure them in place. And you're going to line that up like so, and do it with the second screw as well. You should have two ends sticking out, and just again, give your motor a twist and make sure you can feel that nice resistance, which we can. And what you can do is you can fix these in place using the nuts provided. Now in the manual it shows the screws as gold, but no, they are not gold, they are the silver screws that you want to use. We've built our motor and our assembly, which is fantastic. We're going to build the base of the car, so get the two pieces of the car that you need ready for that, and then just remove anything excess that we don't need. So we're going to take this large piece here to start with, and we're going to glue the battery components that hold the battery in place. It's really important that you get the right pieces in place. They are very, very sensitive. So the battery assembly is going to be going in this area here around the car like so. So we'll just apply some glue in this area here. So this piece is coming on this side, and this piece is coming on this side, so. Good. You're now going to take your battery assembly piece and you're going to fix them in place. Now it is important you get them on the correct ends. The springy end goes down here, and just gently push it into position like so. You can see there, and the positive end gently push into position like so. You want to do it delicately so you don't break any of the terminations on the device. And you should feel it clip into place in the little grooves of the timber. The next thing we're going to do is fit the pieces that hold the battery in place. So included with every kit you'll have two sticky pads. Don't use those sticky pads. You want to use these smaller, much thinner pieces. So you're going to take the edge off them just with the corner of your finger and apply them on the inside edge of these pieces here, and you're going to fix them in place. Then remove the other side, and then we'll be ready to position them. Fix these, they're exactly the same, they're identical. One can go on one end and just gently maneuver them into place, and the other one on the other end. And what that will do is that will hold the battery in place, ready for the future, but we don't need that just now. Okay, the next step is we're going to fit the lighting system for the front of the vehicle. So let's start by tucking the light through the holder. So just put a dollop of glue in the front, 2 parts there. Glue this piece first with it pointing upwards, and then you can glue the LED down in position, and that will hold the light nicely in place. Fantastic. So once you've glued that, then we're going to add the 2 carriers that are going to hold the front of the car together. Now, you will find that there is a little hole at the bottom, and that's really important because that's going to hold our wheels in position. So the hole you want pointing upwards, so it's going upwards. So again, with some glue there and there, you can glue the pieces into position. And again with the carrier at the back, like so. So that's the front of our car, and you can see it's starting to come together. So we're going to take our motor and we're going to mount it at the rear of the car, which is where it's going to be. Apply some glue where the motor is going to sit, which is to the left of the car, and I'm going to drop the motor into place. I'm going to glue the underside of the motor as well. Okay, next we're going to need the rear body of the car. We're going to get our 2 circuit boards and we're going to fix them in place, and it's really important you get the configuration correct and you fix them in the correct manner. You will need to do it while the car is together, so you can tuck that through as well. So my advice is to do that one first. So we'll start with that, and we're going to be putting the screws from underneath upwards and tightening the nuts. So take your first screw and just with the nuts, with your finger, rest it on top and just gently finger tighten. It's absolutely fine to finger tighten. Follow with the second. You can take a flathead screwdriver and just gripping underneath to tighten up if you like. Great, got my switch in position, it's nice and tight. So we'll carry on and we'll fit the circuit kit. Like I said, just check the orientation, make sure you get it the right way around. You want the large piece facing towards the switch, and we'll do exactly the same, tucking the screws through. The next thing we're going to do is take our solar panel. That's the magic, that's what we're all here for. This is a 4-volt solar panel, so it's quite large, much higher voltage than some of our others, and that's because the car requires lots of energy to go. You're going to apply the sticky pad, one end and the other end, and just peel the tops back off them. And then we're going to stick that on the underside of the car. So if you turn your car over, so you're going to pass the cables through, like so, and stick solar panel down. Okay, we're now ready to do some really complicated stuff and start passing our cables through. So we're going to pass our solar cable through. So that's fitted like that, and there's a little arch here where you can tuck that through. And then you're going to go ahead and fit that. Now there's 4 parts to the circuit board, and there is a specific way of things going in. And what I'm going to do is carefully work my way around. So first thing I'm going to do is fit my solar. So I'm going to tuck that nicely in like so. Just with your fingers, just gently push down to make sure you've got a good connection on that. The switch goes there, and the battery gets installed in this corner here. Finally, we're going to plug our motor in, and like I said, never force it, get close to it, check you got it the right way. If it doesn't go in, twist around, check that you've got it right, and just gently with the corners of your thumbs push it in. Then it's really advisable to take your battery, insert it and test that it's all working to make sure you've got it working properly. Slide it in, and I can hear my motor is working, which is great, and the light's coming on as well. Perfect. And you can just test your switch by turning it off, turning it on, and there we go. Now if it's not working for any reason, take the solar panel with the battery, charge it up for an hour or so in the sunlight, then come back to it and try again. But really importantly, it should spin and the light should work before you proceed. You can remove the battery at this point, so you can insert it later without any problem. Okay, the next step we're going to do is actually glue this all together now. Take glue and apply to all the points that you can see, the exposed points. You're going to take it, flip it on its side, and gently rest down in position. Just check that none of your cables are being crimped or caught. Starting from the top, find the position and gently work your way down the car. There you go, so you start with the front. Once you've got the front in, you'll get most of the car all together. Now the next step now is to hide all your cables. You've got all this cable here and you want to tuck it away. So I'm going to do that by tucking it in there like so. And then we're going to fit the size of the race car to ensure that it's all staying together. Now you've got 2 pieces, which are the large pieces, which go here, and you've got the smaller pieces, which go at the back there. So once you're happy, you can glue those in position like so. Okay, we're now going to do the other side, so in exactly the same way, just going to apply some glue, gently ease into position like so. Now I've often found as well, when I'm doing this side, that it can be useful to potentially rest the vehicle on this side while it's gluing to hold it in place like this. Okay, we can now move on and we can make the rear wing for the car while that's drying and holding itself together. So take the rear wing and take the two supports that support the wing and just apply some glue around these fixing points, and we're going to stick them down. And then you can invert your car over and fix the rear wing to the back of the race car. Just gently get it in position, just gently rock, as I always say, forward and back, forward and back. Now leave the plastic cover as well on the solar panel, that's really important. Right, we're now going to fit the wheels to our car. So we'll fit the front axle, slide that bar through the wheels to the front of the vehicle. First wheel like that, you may need a little bit of pressure. It's often easier if you do two wheels at the same time and you can just push together, inwards together like so. Then we're going to fit the pieces that sit around here. So we've got the small pieces at the front and the large pieces that go around the back, and this is just the finishing detail really to the race car. I'm ready to fit my rear wheels now. Flip the car over, just fit your rear wheels like so together, and if it's not straight you can just adjust it ever so slightly. Good. Just going to fit the final two pieces, the front. Final step for any race car is to insert the battery and you're ready to test the car. Okay, we're ready to go, so remove the plastic so that your solar panel will catch lots of light, and now leave it in the sunlight, charge for a couple of hours, and then come back to it and you can try and race. Okay, let's turn her on and off she goes. So there you have it, the Formula One solar powered race car from Next Day Solar. We hope you enjoyed building it. It's one of our most advanced toys, one of our most interesting toys, with the circuitry, the on and off switch, the battery, the motor, and the LED light. Now all that's left to do is paint the car in your F1 Formula One colours and have fun. Thank you for watching.